few things. Let's talk about this pelvic floor area. So the reason that we come into this opening pose is to create that opening in the pelvic floor. So you can use either a bolster with a blanket at the top or bricks. And so this area is the troublesome area. It is the #1 disease center for both genders in North America. So they don't know what's going on. But this counteracts how most of us spend our day, right? Which is closed. Everything's closed, no circulation, no light. Now we are creating this nice open pelvic floor area, and it translates to the upper chest. That's the beauty of this whole thing, is it is a beautiful spinal extension where the central nervous system is opening. So we add the breath here by starting to slow the breath down and deepen the breath, feeling the armpit chest, the center, and the back body lifting through the inhale, lifting also through the exhale as you follow all the way through that exhale. So we're starting to breathe more deeply now. We're connecting with the breath. The mind is following the breath as it unfolds, one moment into the next. Fluid breath. Try to finish that exhale by softening the breath to extend the life of that exhale. So we're creating some movement through the side ribs. We're starting to feel the movement the breath brings to the body. Deep breath. Feel the movement the breath brings to the body. Soften the body now and receive the breath. Welcome the breath with open arms by softening the body to receive the breath. Now, to create a sense of the heart opening, think about something you feel grateful for in this moment. And then look at your practice as an offering. A loving offering. Feeling the heart open, feeling the body soften to receive the goodness as we bring new life to the body through that inhale. Letting go now through the exhale, letting go of whatever it is you no longer need. See if you can feel a sense of release. Pausing at the end of the exhale, letting go and feeling that sense of surrender before you begin that next new breath. So press through the outsides of the feet. Join the outer feet from the back outer heel right up into the baby toe. Spread the toes wide. Spread the toes long. Feel a sense of drawing your knees away from you. Connect with that length along the top of the thighs. Feel that energy travel out through your knees. So the knees are soft. Let's inhale, lift the knees up to center. On the exhale, come over to one side and just move your bricks or your bolster off to the side. Good. How are your knees? Okay. So let's just come on down here and take a nice side stretch here. Draw the thighs into the chest to release the lower back. That's rock from side to side. And take some deep breaths here. So because the breath is automatic, we have to really devote some genuine intention to the breath. And you'll notice how quickly you're sidetracked. Just come back to the breath each time you lose track. Just returning back to that deep inhale, that deep exhale. Let's open the arms out to the T position. Hello. And let's drop the knees over to the left. Let's take the left hand on top of the right thigh, inner thighs together. See if you can try and keep that right shoulder blade on the ground. Breathe deeply. I'm just going to run and say hello to a filming. And then let's inhale, lift the knees up through center and over to the right. See if you can keep that left shoulder blade on the ground. Feel the inner thighs squeeze together. And as you inhale, feel the armpit chest, the center chest lifting. Also lifting through the exhale as you follow through that exhale. Breathe deeply. So let's wake up the core a little before we go on. Inhale, lift the knees up through center and take your knees 3/4 of the way over to the left and pause. Inhale, lift the knees through center, dropping the knees 3/4 of the way and pause. Just moving now to the rhythm of your own breath, nice and easy. just moving from side to side in this axle twist, waking up the abdominals. And if you'd like to add another component, you can straighten that top leg as you come over to each side, only if it works for you. Breathe deeply, everybody. Nice deep breaths. Good job. Let's come over to one side. Take that right hand to the left palm. Slide that hand past to release the upper thoracic spine. And then bring your hand to the floor. And let's slowly make our way up here. Hello. So sweet thing, you might need a blanket. So why don't you take this blanket here? And let me run and get a couple more things. There we go. Okay, so let's take the blanket and grab a block, everybody. Let's bring our knees onto the blanket and just take your block out to the side and step your left foot out to the side. Now the height of the block, oops, depends on you. And we're just stretching, reaching that left arm overhead. See if you can tuck your pelvis in and under. Lift your belly. So lift the corner of the smiley face up. Both sides. Feel that belly lifting. Let's press down through that left foot as we reach the left arm away. See if you can turn that left palm up. Yes. Good. Nicely done. Breathe deeply, everybody. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Try and take your hips forward. That outer left buttocks cheek is squeezing in. Good. Let's inhale. Come on up. Let's reach the right arm up. Lift tall, nice and tall. Lift that belly. Nice. And let's come over to the side. So eventually we take that left hand down to the left foot. That's it. Turn the left palm up and take the right hand to the left. That's it. Nicely done. Tuck, tuck, tuck. And untuck your toes. That's it. Everybody untuck that right toe. See if you can try and create some space at the top of that, the arch of that right foot. That's it. Breathe deeply. Lift your belly and tuck. See if you can slide that hand down just a little more. Good. Breathe deeply. So we want to look for a little stillness and then just focus on the breath. Good. Let's slowly come back up. Feel the release. And let's come over to the other side. So it depends on the level of the block for you. And let's reach that right hand overhead and press down through that right foot. See if you can tuck the pelvis in and under. Lift your belly and breathe. So feel the counter stretch. As you press down through the right foot, reach that right hand in the opposite direction. Lift the belly and breathe. So the breath is the most important part. See if you can let go of all the dialogue and just focus on your breath. So no conversation. Try and let go of that conversation and just observe as you breathe, following your breath. The breath will set you free. Moksha. That's inhale as you come up, reaching that arm up. Notice how as you look up, it will create even more length. So we look up, tuck, tuck, tuck the pelvis. So feel that sense of scooping your pelvis as you lift the belly. Left hand over to the right. Let's slide that right hand down to the right foot. Maybe take that left hand to the right. And just respect that the two sides are not the same. They're not the same inside either. So we just observe. Instead of that harsh conclusion that creates boundaries, just try to observe and breathe. Try and feel the stillness. It's moving in stillness. That's where we are. But the movement is inside the body. Good job, everybody. Let's slowly come up. Let's take that right foot in. Sure, let's take that right foot in. I think we need a little stretch, okay? So everybody come on down. It really is going to depend on whether or not you need support for your head in terms of whether you will use the blanket. But let's just come down onto the belly for a start. And try to stack the elbows so they're right underneath the shoulders. Bring your feet together. And then press out through the feet. So the feet are important. Think about lengthening through the instep of your inner ankles. Yeah. And then maybe walk those feet a little closer in. So for you, lovely, this would be important. The feet are going to be exceptionally important because everything that happens to the feet translates up. So we lengthen through the instep of the inner ankles. See if you can press through the tops of the feet, lift your knees, outer buttocks, cheeks in, lift the belly, elbows underneath the shoulders, and now look at your inner wrists. See if you can press the inner wrist down as you spread your palms wide. So if you see your hands like this, you need to bring the outer wrists out further. So, like so. Yes, better. And elbows in a bit. So you look at these forearms as train tracks. Do I want to get on those train tracks? That's how you know, because it's so important for the shoulders. So as you press down through the inner wrists, feel the opening of the shoulders. Feel how it opens your shoulders. Good. So as we press down through the tops of the feet, we pull the body forward. Outer back arms straight back. Inner shoulder blades together. Outer shoulder blades back. Lift through the sternum, lift through the center chest. So we don't use the chin and lift the chin, we lift the sternum to the chin. Breathe deeply, everybody. Deep breaths. This is an advanced pose. Can you feel how advanced it is? So you, Misty, would bring your elbows a little further forward. Small movements, very nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's come on here. So slide that right arm forward, and it's up to you whether you want to use a blanket. Left knee forward. Bend your right leg, catch your left hand to your right foot. And let's tilt in towards the pelvis. So we want to take the heel to the buttocks and tuck. So drop in towards your belly. No. Other way around. Go towards the belly to start. Yes, that, not so much, somewhere in between, yeah. And that's tuck now. Think about taking that right hip to the ground and then lengthen through that thigh. Feel the energy travel through the knee as you take the heel to the buttocks. And I'm just going to run and get a couple of blocks for Magali. I'll be right back. This isn't stable. Yeah. There we go. So tuck, 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 everybody. Feel that thigh get nice and long. So keeping the heel to the buttocks. Pressing down through the top of that right thigh. We're going to roll towards the back body. Taking that right foot to the floor. And let's straighten that left leg and take your right hand to your left foot. So the left leg is straight. And if you can't grab that left foot, you can grab a strap or just lay the way I am at the moment. So the director is the thigh. That's pressed down through that right thigh. Inhale, lift through the sternum. So the sternum and armpit chest are lifting to the sky. Breathe deeply. And you want to flex that left foot, lengthening through that left Achilles. And breathe deeply, everybody. Full body breath. This is a deep twist. Twists need the breath to create that detox you're looking for in the hips, in the spine, in those areas of tension. Breathe deeply, full body breath. So to open that left shoulder a little more, you can walk your left hand underneath that right foot, and you'll see how it externally rotates that left shoulder out. And we're breathing deeply. against that right foot, bringing your knees together. Let's come onto the belly. And because we love the back, right? Everybody loves the back. You look beautiful. Let's bring the hands and bring your forehead onto your palms. And we are just kicking the legs, and the action comes from behind the buttocks cheeks as you lengthen those legs. Kick, kick, kick. So those outer buttocks cheeks should be nice and tight. The muscle should be tight around the bone of the leg. And feel free at any time, if you need to, take a break. Let's bring the feet to the floor, pressing through the tops of the feet. Squeeze those outer buttocks cheeks in so the knees are lifting off the ground. And let's reach the arms overhead and linger. Press through the tops of the feet, outer buttocks cheeks, and back. Nice, slow movements. Press through the tops of the feet. Feel those legs get nice and long. One more. Nicely done, everybody. Your back will thank you. Not to mention, you're working in a nice spinal extension. Let's bring the hands forward and interlace your palms. So this is for longevity and health. Let's tuck the toes, lift the hips. So my new hero here, bring your feet together. Inner thighs, so feel those inner thighs squeeze as you reach back through the heels. Feel a sense of tucking and lifting your belly. So your pelvis is tucking in and under, and you're pressing through the outer wrists. So look forward, feel your sternum reach forward. So my hero, she's 103, and she does a 3-minute plank every day. And it's not going to hurt you. And it's a full body experience, correct? So try not to drop your gaze. Try to have your gaze slightly forward because it affects the position of your shoulders, right? You want to try and drop your shoulders down, down, down. That's it. And breathe deeply. See if you can reach back through your heels. Reach back through your heels. That's it. Really nice. So keep reaching back through your heels. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Pressing through the outer wrists. All right. Let's come forward and back. Take a break if you need to. Forward, okay, and back. Let's lift the hips, walk your feet in towards your elbows. So just focus on dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Let's press through the balls of the feet and lift the hips. Lift your hips. And now let's take those heels down. So look at your outer shins. You want to roll your inner ankles out And press hard through those outer heels, drawing the outer shins back and the outer hips back. Drop the head down. Breathe deeply, everybody. Full body breath. Good job. Let's walk the feet back into the plank position. Good job. All right. Let's drop the hips down. And let's thank God we only have two sides. Let's take the left arm forward. Bend your right knee. So again, if you need a blanket for your head, have it nearby. Let's bend the left leg. Catch the left foot with that right hand and draw the heel to the buttocks. Let's lengthen that left thigh. Lengthen that left thigh. So surrender that left hip bone. Let it be supported by Mother Earth. And then feel that left thigh get long. Feel it get longer and longer. Scoop that left side of the pelvis in and under. Lift the belly up and in. See if you can find an area of tension and breathe into that area. If it's an area of pain, draw a boundary around that pain. You will notice the mind will resist. Insist on creating a boundary and then breathing into that. Slowly closing that boundary in as you breathe. Pressing through the top of that left thigh. Let's take that left foot to the floor as you roll towards the back body. Let's walk the right foot towards the left hand. At the very least, straighten that right leg and lengthen through that right heel. Lengthen through that right Achilles. And then let's start to create some opening through the breath as we inhale, lifting the sternum to the sky. Exhaling, again, lifting the chest. So the chest lifts on both the inhale and the exhale. See if you can take a moment to pause in between both breaths. So we're pausing now in between both the inhale and the exhale. Pausing in that moment of stillness before you begin that next new breath. So this is a wonderful double hip opener. It's a back bend. It's all sorts of wonderful things for the body. It's a twist. So we move slowly with intention. No sudden movements. See if you can soften the body and identify an area that still is carrying tension. And let's breathe into that area as we let go. So remember, twists are a detox for the spine, but they need the breath. So in these last moments, give it a deeper breath. Give it a breath of intention. Whether it's a softer breath, just make it all about your breath in these last moments to bring life to this twist, to this hip opener. So we're going to slowly release that foot, bringing the knees together so that we are respectful of the lower back. And then let's come on to the belly here. Just take your arms out and just lift. Drop your shoulders, roll the creases up. Just for a few moments, drop your shoulders, creases up. Creases of the inner elbows up. And I can see how that left arm wants to go out. So that observation of where things are, look for symmetry. All right, nice. Let's bring the forehead again on top of the palms and open your knees to the edge of the mat. Bring your heels together and just press through those feet. Press through your heels. Dropping your shoulders away from your ears. Let's press through the feet and lift the knees just slightly off the ground, just lingering here. Let's drop the knees down. And then one more time, let's lift those knees. And just pause here, squeezing those feet together, feeling your outer buttocks, cheeks. And then straighten the legs. Bring your feet together and drop your knees. Good. Let's release the legs and walk your legs into center. Let's bring the hands to the lower ribs, elbows back and in. Press through the tops of the feet. Gaze is down. Breathe deeply here. See if you can feel a sense of those elbows drawing back. Dropping the shoulders. Good. Good. That's press through the hands and that slowly come up into the table position. And since we're here, we might as well do a few spinal waves, right? So release your head, tuck your tail, lift your belly, spread your fingers nice and wide. Breathe deeply here. So lift the belly, lift, lift, lift the belly. Drop those shoulders away from the ears. And again, look for that symmetry. Look for everything being nicely in alignment. So feel the pelvis tuck in and under as you lift your belly. And release, leading with the tailbone, rolling one vertebrae at a time. Let's come through the spinal wave into extension. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears. And then lingering here, let's lift the lower ribs up. You'll feel how this releases. So not the whole back. Yes. So have that sort of collapsed, really deep spinal extension, and then lift your lower ribs up and in. This will help to release the space underneath the underarm area. And then look forward if you can, drop the shoulders. That's it, yes. Nice. So spread that left thumb. That left thumb. There we go. Good. Spread it wide. Good job. So this is an opportunity to stop age in its tracks. The long holds, there's no escaping, right? All right, let's tuck. Let's start to move through the spinal waves to the rhythm of our own breath here. But be sure to take that moment to pause at the end of each wave. So we want to pause and linger. That's where the fruit of your labor is. And you want to go right to that very last moment of the pose, where you can start to work through the imbalance. Those tiny little pathologies that start to create imbalance in the body. So this movement brings moisture to the spine. It creates space between the vertebrae to release the nerves. And then let's all come into that spinal extension and just lift your right arm up. Just do what you can. 1 in 4 people will have a shoulder injury. Yeah, drop your shoulders. So if you can reach your right arm higher, do so. Yeah, that's it. But drop the shoulders, drop the shoulder. And then let's thread that right hand through and reach. Pressing through that left hand to reach the right arm. Let's reach the right arm up. So just do a few to the rhythm of your own breath, just 1 or 2. And then take your right hand to meet your left. Let's reach the left arm up. and drop your shoulders. Just focus on letting that right shoulder drop down away from that right ear. Spread your hands nice and wide. Feel the hand knuckles, the middle, the thumb knuckle. And then let's thread. Just thread the arm through and pause. Reaching by pressing through that right arm. Reaching the left by pressing through the right. And then just do a few to the rhythm of your own breath. Good job, you guys. So take your left hand to meet your right. Let's come into that spinal extension, lifting your hips. Let's tuck the toes in and under as we come into downward dog. So get those arms straight and drop the shoulders away from the ears. You can see I look at my hands and feet to see the placement, to make sure everything's nicely aligned. And then let's press through the balls of the feet and roll your inner ankles out as you take the outer heels down, drawing those outer shins back, making those knees nice and neutral. And then inner thighs, back, 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 to create that space in the lower back. Lower ribs up to the hips as you focus on lifting those hips up. Kneecaps lift to the upper thighs. As we feel those femur bones get a nice hug from all of the muscles. So we're grounding the femur bones, tightening those thighs around the thigh bones as we draw those inner thighs back. Imagine spitting something out through the back end. Good job. Let's lift that right leg straight up and back. Bend your right knee, take your right heel to your buttocks. Left heel down as you lift that left kneecap. So feel that left kneecap pull up. As you press the left heel down, squeezing the right heel to the buttocks. Shoulders away from the ears. Let's take the right foot down and lift the left leg. Bend your knee and take the heel to the buttocks, right heel down. So again, we're rolling that inner right ankle out, pressing hard through that outer right heel to draw the right shin back, to draw the right outer thigh and hip back. And we lift the left knee even higher, squeezing the heel to the buttocks. Shoulders away from the ears. Let's take the left foot down. Now just drop your knees down. If you need to take a child's pose, you're more than welcome. But I want you all to feel what it's like for the inner thighs to draw back. Now ideally we should have a foam block for this, not a girl. But just to get a sense of the inner thighs drawing back in Adho Mukha, let's take the hands down. So shoulders down, creases up, tuck the toes, leading with the hips, downward dog. Now squeeze the block and imagine spitting the block out through the back of your legs. As you roll those inner ankles out, so there's a double action here. Can you feel that? The inner thighs spit the block out, and that opens the shins. And then we roll the inner ankles out, pressing hard through those outer heels to draw those outer shins back. Lift your hips. block. See if you can feel that unison, those two actions happening together. Good job. Take those heels down. So see what happens. The more you use your legs, the easier the pose gets. Good job. Let's walk the hands to the feet. Drop your head down. So spit the block out through the inner thighs. And again, roll those inner ankles out, pressing hard through the outer heels. So there's two actions here. See if you can walk your hands towards your feet, but don't take those hips back. So the hips are on top of the knees are on top of the ankles. And we're rolling those inner ankles out, inner thighs back. Good. Let's remove the block. So everybody take the block away. And let's open the feet and bring the heels together. Good. And let's just bend the knees and come down. Heels high, heels together. Heels high and together. And then let's come up and down a few times, squeezing the inner thighs as we come up. Heels together. So look at your heels and make sure that they're nicely positioned. So heels high if you can. Is it hard? It's a bit hard, right? It's harder than it looks, correct? I know. Try and imagine doing 50 of these. So the reason we're doing it is because it incorporates the entire leg. Can you feel how it really uses everything? It's quite a clever move. Okay, everybody. Let's take the heels out. Good. And we're just again folding forward into Uttanasana. Make sure that your hips are on top of your knees and your knees are on top of your ankles. And just let your head hang from the middle of your spine. So remember, inner thighs back to create space through the lower back. Inner ankles roll out to draw the outer shins back and keep those knees neutral. So the knees are safe when they're nice and neutral. And then we exercise the knees by lifting those kneecaps up, using the muscles around the knees to support, to become stronger. See if you can lift your heels, coming onto the balls of the feet and come down. Lift your heels, lift your hips, lift your kneecaps up to your upper thighs and come down. Lots of fun, right? But the importance is that you feel those kneecaps lifting towards the upper thighs. You feel all 10 toe knuckles. The big toe knuckles are connected to the quadriceps. They're very important. So feel how pressing through your big toes lifts and connects with the upper thighs. And then let's drop the heels down one more time. Let your head hang from the middle of your spine. So you're pressing down through the feet, kneecaps are pulling up, but it's a soft action. It's not aggressive. Let's bring the hands to the shins, coming into the flat back. One more time, folding forward here. So bringing the weight just a little bit further into the front of the feet. So you're not in your ligaments. You're using the muscles of the thighs. You're using the legs 100% as the upper body surrenders over the lower half. So it's all legs. Let's come all the way up. Good job. Nicely done, everybody. Whew. Hello. So y'all have a chair here. I have never done this in a classroom before. But we want to have the chair on the mat so that the chair does not slide. And then you want to have a nice firm. We're just going to do a little warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. So to make sure that that chair is nice and firm, just press down. And I always do, just out of habit, because I want to feel, so it's a nice, easy coming down and up. And then that's come into the 90 degree. And we're just lingering here. So just find a nice, easy position where your hips are on top of your knees. So roll those inner ankles out. Feel the legs get nice and strong. Lower ribs up and in. And let's take the right leg back. So again, you don't want to have those left toes turning out. You want to have a nice straight left foot and then roll those inner ankles out to draw that left hip back. And let's push out through the right heel. So lift that left kneecap up. Feel that left leg get nice and strong. Feel the left leg get longer and longer. So everything is lifting up. And then let's lift that right leg up and then just slightly down to 90. And then feel how as you lift that right leg up, it helps to draw that left hip back and lengthen the left side. So nice and easy. That's everybody. Step the right foot forward. Good. And just move the position of that left hand over to the right. And see if you can press down through that left foot. So that right hip tucks in and under. The left hip tucks in and under. And then just take your right arm back. So press through that left hand and take that right arm back. That's it. Press down through that left heel. Feel that left kneecap lift. Good job. So we just want to make sure that the hips are nice and square, so we help drawing that right hip back. And keeping the hips square, let's bring the hands forward and just fold, bringing your face down. That's it. And then again, press through your feet. Feel those kneecaps lift. Feel a sense of scooping the right hip in and under, the left hip in and under. Good. And then let's step the right foot back to meet the left, coming back into the 90 degree. And let's lift the left leg this time. So again, as we roll that inner right ankle out, this helps to draw that right shin back, the right hip back. And Virabhadrasana 3, it's a nice pose. So see if you can make that right leg longer and stronger. Press down through that right foot. Feel the knee of that right kneecap lift up to the upper thigh. Feel that right thigh get nice and tight. And then let's lift that left leg just slightly to feel that right hip draw back, to feel the spine just get a little longer. And then drop and lift. Breathe deeply here. So this is another back bend for the spine. It's intense. Let's step the left foot forward. Just do your best. Let's take the right hand over to the left and left arm back. But we're pressing down through the feet. Feeling those outer buttocks, cheeks, as we reach the left arm back to bring that right hip forward so it's in line on the same axis as the left. And let's bring the hands down, and one more time, let's fold forward here. So it depends on where you are, but press those feet down. Lift those kneecaps up. Deep breaths here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. So tuck the pelvis in and under, and then let's all come up here and just pivot your feet forward. So come on up. Yeah, and then pivot the feet forward. Let's look at the outsides of the feet here. Make sure that they're parallel. And then hands to the hips. Let's fold forward. Fold forward. So the natural inkling is to bring those hips back. But we want to stay out of the ligaments, so see if you can bring your hips and stack them above your knees, and then feel those kneecaps lift. So make those legs strong as you walk your hands forward into a super wide-legged downward dog. So drop your head, lift your hips. This is a great opportunity to feel your hips lift. Let's walk the hands in towards the feet. Try to keep your head as low as you can. Just do what you can. That's my motto now. Try to bring your hands inside your feet. And then tip forward. Try to bring the weight into the balls of the feet. Feel the kneecaps lift. Try not to let those knees roll in, so we roll those inner ankles out so the knees are nice and neutral. Everybody, see if you can tip a little further forward. Good. Hands to the hips as you slowly come up. And then that's heel toe here. And just move your happy chair off to the side. I'm not sure what to do first. Maybe just a little mini hip opener with the bolster. Or, depending on how open your hips are, you could even try, so let me get to the point here. Everybody take your blocks forward. And then let's bring that right leg over. So if you are super flexible in your hips, the important part is you want to create a connection between that left hip and the right heel. So you see I have to, and I'm very tight, so this is very difficult for me, so I need lots of height to fill this gap. Maybe a smaller bolster or even a rolled up mat, yes. So the ticket is the space you should not be able to see through. So you and I are super tight, that's just the way we are. So people go, but you're a yoga teacher. I go, that's why I do yoga, because I'm tight as a drum. I'm made of cement. So see how this left leg wants to wing out? You want to do your best to walk that foot in so that you can press through the top of that left foot and lengthen through the instep of that inner left ankle. See if you can lengthen your inner left ankle. Holy cow. As you bring the left hip to the right heel. As you take the right hip back to the left foot. So take the right hip back to the left foot. So it's an internal movement, yes. So you might need a little more, but you're doing pretty good. Try and bring that left hip forward. So I would say, sweet thing, take a second. That should be ideal. So we're just trying to fill the gap. If you have a big gap, you have a big gap. If you have a small gap, you have a small gap. But the important part is that Ekapada Raja Kapotasana is a back bend, right? We are going up, not down. Yes, we are going up. Because eventually we bend the left leg, right? So we have to be balanced. You can see how I'm tipping, and that's why I need something. But we want to be opening that right hip. We want to have the weight in that right hip, bringing the left hip forward, and then we would bring the right arm up. But everybody has their limitations. So the motto is, let your story go and do what you can. This is the year of do what you can, and feel ridiculously happy that you're doing that. What can I say? Feel ridiculously happy that we're here. And you, my sweet, maybe you feel like a deeper, because you want to come forward. You can even take the bolster away. You can do anything you want. Yes, exactly. Try to bring the heel, though, to that right heel to the left hip. Yes, yes, exactly. Bingo. And then start to come up. Yeah. Bend that left leg, if you could. We're just hanging out here, right? Looking for a little balance. So that right cheek, think about opening that right cheek. From the crease where the leg and the buttock meet, from the inner to the outer leg. Can you feel that? That's an opening. So I wasn't planning to be here for a long time, just a good time. How are you doing over there? Take that left hip, squeeze the right heel. Those two together. And then flex the foot. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then reach up. So you need the balance. That's why you need to stay, bring that left hip more forward. So you have a little more balance, exactly. And then you can start to lift the hand. Okay, let's come on, because we're going to do a hamstring stretch in a minute, but we need to do the other side of this. So let's talk about Baddha Konasana here for just a split second, because we're here. This is the pose in the Iyengar system, meaning the hip and the knee are in line. I might even sit a little higher, right? You might sit a little higher. Well, we won't stay there today, but just so you understand, the knees need to be able to be going down and away. We just do what we can though, and you just see over time, things come. Yes, exactly. So you would sit a little higher, but that's okay. That was just an explanation to understand. We don't always do that, right? But this would be the ideal where the hips are in line with the knees. That's come down onto the floor, it's a different stretch. So just feel that. Totally different stretch, right? When the knees are now much higher. Yeah. See if you can take your knees away just for a second or two. Lift up, lift up, lift up, lift tall, press through the outsides of the feet, maybe spread your toes, open your feet if you're super flexible. A lot of ifs there. Okay, and now let's take the right leg back. So again, some people may need 2 bolsters, or a bolster and a blanket, or nothing. Everybody's going to be in a different place, slightly different place. But you flex that left foot to engage the shin, and this protects the knee. That's why we want to flex that left foot. We don't want to stretch the knee. We want to stretch the hip. So keep that in mind. That's why we're supporting here. So if you feel it in your knee, good. So it's very easy in Ekapada to feel it in your knee if you're not supporting correctly, but we're trying to open that left hip. See if you can widen that left area from the crease where that leg and buttocks meet. Go from the inner to the outer leg. Feel that, inner to the outer leg. And then that right hip is coming forward to the left heel. The left heel is coming to the right hip. The two are having a connection. That's what we look for. And the bolster is creating that connection for me, right? That's how you judge. So I can see through her legs. So she needs maybe a rolled mat or something because she doesn't have enough support. But you could roll that up. Exactly, nicely rolled in a nice, and thread it through to connect that right heel to the left hip. And then she would be able to progress with some balance, and then bend the right knee and take the arm up and so on. But we're just trying to create some action down here, eh? This pelvic floor area. It's just nice to open it. So left heel to the right hip to the left heel. So everybody, just think about drawing your right hip to your left heel and your left heel to your right hip. So join those two together as you lift up. Join those two, that's it. Close your eyes, but create that connection. Maybe that right thigh will press into the bolster for you a little. Good job, everybody. Alrighty, let's come on down. Just let your buttocks sink back as you bring your leg forward. And just drop your chest into your thighs. Yeah. Good. So everybody's got a strap. Let's move the bolster over to the left. And if you need a blanket underneath your head, take one. Let's bring the blocks to the wall. And then just keep your strap nearby. Bring your feet to the bricks and your knees are bent. And then let's just press the heels into the blocks to straighten the legs. You should feel a sense of everything coming down in the back body and the front is lifting up. Let's just take the bolster on top of the thighs. So notice what happens. The weight of the bolster helps to ground those femur bones. We start to feel the femur bones drop down towards the floor, decreasing the space behind the back of the thighs. And those thighs are nice and tight. See if you can feel the tightness of the thighs around the bone. That's called grounding the femur bone. So you're just pressing the bolster down on top of your thighs. Think of the thighs as being very heavy, dropping down, kneecaps lifting, pressing through the heels. Shoulders drop down away from the ears. Breathe deeply, everybody. So it might be hard to find or feel this connection, but the more you ground your femur bones, the more the upper chest opens, the easier it is to breathe. Let's slide the bolster now so it's just on the left thigh. Pressing through the left foot, draw the right thigh in towards you. Let's tuck the right side of the pelvis to draw the right thigh into the chest. Relax the shoulders, away from the ears. So we tuck the right side, and at the same time, press through the left heel. See if you can do those two things in unison together. That's the yoga. Let's take the strap, and there's a little loop in that strap, hopefully. Let's take the little loop around the right foot. Take the hands overhead. So the right leg is completely straight. And we are pulling the right leg away from us, so that that right hip is in line with the left. This is oh so important. We do not want to lift that right hip and torque that right SI. We drop that right hip away from the right ribs, leg straight, and then let that right hip be heavy as you reach through the right heel. So press through both feet. everybody. So you can either reach your index and middle finger to your big toe, or take your hand into the loop or the strap, whichever works for you. Let's reach the left arm out to the T position and pressing through that left foot, cutting the floor like a knife on that left side body. So that's where the strength is. Let's open the right leg out to the side. So don't let that left side body lift at all. Breathe deeply here. Fullness in the breath brings space to the body. Pressing through that left leg, pressing through that left foot. Inhale as you lift the right leg up through center. Exhale, letting that right hip be heavy as you take the leg over to the left. So don't lift that right hip, let it be nice and heavy. Breathe deeply, feel your inner thighs look towards each other. So the inner thighs are rolling in to create that sense of space behind the lower back. Lower ribs down. Let's inhale as you take your right leg back through center. Let's just move the bolster off to the side. Let's take that right ankle on top of the left thigh. Release the strap. Take a figure 4. So thread your hands through as you flex that right foot, so you engage the right shin, protecting the knee. So we're stretching the hip, everybody, not the knee. There's no sensation in the knee. So a lot of times, let's talk a little bit while we're here, as I promised I would, about the knee. So sometimes we get knee pain. And these are just a couple of reasons why and how you might address them. So when we're stretching the hip, often when that hip isn't able to go any further, we allow it to travel into the knee. So this would be a very firm example as we lengthen through that right Achilles, flexing that right heel, we engage the shin and we keep the stretch in the hip and out of the knee. Knees don't stretch, I promise you. On the center of your buttocks, so you're right on your sacrum, the lower ribs are down, but there's a sense of space behind your lower back. And you just do what you can. Some people have really tight hips. Some people have very, very open and flexible hips, and then they can really run into problems in their SI area when they fold, because the pelvis isn't going with everything, nothing's working together. So everybody has their limitations, so we do what we can, and we try to do it in the right alignment to protect the joints. We want to stay young and agile. And long holds are a way of turning back the clock. When you adhere the muscle to the bone, that's youth in a jar. Very nice, everybody. Cross your right thigh on top of your left, bringing your knees together, flexing both feet. Let's take the hands to the shins, drawing the thighs in towards you. So again, try to work from the center of your buttocks. Breathe deeply. Over time, the body starts to accept this new place, and it becomes more of a permanent position. So that's the benefit of really lingering and going beyond 3, 5, 6, 7 minutes, going right into a place where it's more of an energetic pose. It's no longer a muscular, organic, it's an energetic action. Let's uncross the legs, and just to set again, let's take the feet to the wall. Let's take the bolster on top of the thighs. So this little sequence here, Supta Padangusthasana, when we use the strap, is something that most people should do daily, especially if you have back issues. Let's take the bolster down into the thighs. Press that bolster down, because it will liberate the chest. It will give space to the heart. We want that open heart, that place where we have that loving feeling about life, positive. So just feeling where your center is. Let's interlace the hands overhead as we press through the feet, reach the palms away. Breathe deeply. So press your feet down and into the bricks. Thighs down. So if your feet are perfectly straight up, rolling those inner ankles gently out and pressing hard through the outer heel, draws those hips down, draws those shins down, and then we feel a sense of the inner thighs drawing in and down for a little bit of space behind the lower back. Lifting your belly. Let's take the hands to the elbows and just draw the arms out and away without releasing the clasp of the hands. Widening your armpit chest from the center of the armpit out to the sides. Good job, everybody. Let's take the bolster and just roll it so it's on just the right thigh as you draw the left thigh in towards you. So lengthening that right leg as you tuck the left side in and under. Doing this together. This sense of unison is what you're looking for. So we have to soften and be present. Take the back of the right thigh down to the floor. So that right thigh is tight around the bone as you tuck the left side in and under. Maybe you need to relax your shoulders a little more and to lengthen the back of the neck, soften the chin into the sternum. So a lot of us need to lengthen through the inner right thigh, especially down through the instep of that inner right ankle, so you can start to feel a connection with that big right toe knuckle. So you can feel all four corners of that right foot. Let's take the strap now around the ball of the left foot. Take your arms overhead. So this left leg is straight, and we are not pulling, lifting the left hip. So that outer left femur, we don't want to do that. We want that left hip dropping down and away. So pull that left leg away from you. So the left hip is on the same axis as the right, and the head of this femur bone isn't open. We don't want that. We want it tucking in and under so we don't wear away the head of that. Breathe deeply. Feel the life within you come through that next inhale. Feel the light. Feel the life from the breath. Releasing tension as it travels through the body. Let's take that left hand into the loop or the middle and index finger to the big left toe, or just grab your strap anywhere. But we want to open that right arm out to the T and then focus on really cutting the floor with this right side body, making it heavy as we open the left leg out to the side. So the support on the right side is what allows the left side to open. And the two working together in unison, this is your yoga. And we bring moksha, freedom, to the body through the breath. So breathe deeply, everybody. Deep breaths. Forget that dialogue. Just breathe. Pressing through that right leg, that's inhale, lifting the left leg back through center and taking it slightly to the right, letting the left hip be heavy. Breathe deeply, everybody. Deep breaths. Pull that left leg away from you. Let that left hip be heavy to the earth as you reach through that left heel. Pushing that bolster off to the side. That's inhale as you take the leg to center And exhale, let's draw the right leg in as we take the left ankle on top of the right thigh. And just move the strap off to the side. Flex your left foot. Thread your hands through for a figure 4. So we're right on the sacrum, everybody. We're right on the center of the buttocks. We're reaching through this left heel. It's good to try and draw the toes to the shin. A lot of people later in life start to suffer from what's called this drop foot. And it can be from a nerve damage up here in the pelvic floor area. So we work on it all. We try to do our best. And then that's all that we can do. We don't worry about the past or the future. We just do our best in the moment. Forget the rest. Breathe deeply, everybody. Deep breaths. Breathe to open that left prefrontal cortex. Give it a little opening as you breathe. Letting it grow inside through the breath. That area, that left prefrontal cortex, that's your feel-good center. So the more you breathe, the better you feel. The more you breathe, all of a sudden things start to shift and open. As we move from, as I mentioned, something that is just muscular, and then it starts to go inward and penetrate the organs. It's organic. And then all of a sudden we feel this sense of who knows what, and it's where an energy unto itself is taking place inside the body. Let's cross that left thigh on top of the right. Flex both feet as you draw your knees in towards you. Your hands are on your shins, and try to work from the center of your buttocks, because a lot of us are very imbalanced. We have a lot of imbalance. So we try to work from our center, wherever that is. Breathe deeply, everybody. Full body breaths. Let's uncross the legs and take that final rock. Just rock, rock, rock from side to side. Releasing your lower back, releasing your hips. And we're just going to take a little short Shavasana here. So let's take those happy bricks and just place them down. Bring your bolster just so it's about 3 inches away from your bricks. And your blanket will be underneath the back of your head. And the trick is to get your buttocks cheeks touching the bolster. So there's a sense of the pelvis slightly scooping in and under. To get there, sometimes it helps to kick the bolster, and it's nice and tight to the sits. And then we release the heavy legs onto the bolster, tucking the shoulders in and under. Just allowing the body to be lifeless now. Softening through the inner corner of the eyes. If you can relax your eyelids. Softening through the inner corner of the ears. This is where tension begins in the body. Thus, ringing is contraindicated. So softening the innermost corner of the ear area. Relax your jaw. Feel your face melt into the bone. Let your arms and your shoulders be heavy. And just relax your hands. Let your hips and legs be heavy. Let your shins be heavy. Allowing the body now to be still. So we're slowly going to start to come back to the breath now. Just deepening your next inhale. Deepening your next exhale. Just breathing life back into the body, into the soul. And moving your fingers and your toes. Let's draw the thighs into the chest, and if you need, take a little rock. And then coming over when you're ready and making your way up into an easy seated position. So let's take one last inhale and reach the arms up and just look up, feeling the length we've worked to create in the spine. And keeping this length, let's bring the hands to prayer and just take a moment and thank yourself for the great effort. And let me thank you for allowing me to guide you today. Namaste, everybody. Okay, you guys. I feel like it was still even a bit rushed. And we're still over. I'm sorry. Anyway, good job.